Greetings, my name is Martin. I'm a 3D artist and character designer for a living, and as a WoW player in my spare time I always look forward to the day where the latest tier sets are released. Next to my current main, the Warlock, I often decide which alt to play in a season based on the current tier set, more so than the current gameplay or any meta. Now, yesterday WoW had showed the first 7 tier sets of Midnight, and of course I want to take a look at them, tell you what I like and what I don't like about them as an artist and as a WoW player. This channel is, by the way, brand new, so if you like what you see, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. It helps me tremendously and makes sure that I can make more content like this in the future. This is the Eye of Kilrock. Let's take a look. To begin with, we have a little disclaimer for this article. These armor sets have been stitched together by hand and may contain errors. As this is also alpha, these may be unfinished and may be subject to change at any point. So always keep this in mind when we're looking at things. I think I've already seen one definite case where the stitching didn't go as intended. And maybe some of the sets, maybe hopefully some of those that aren't looking so great are going to be changed a little bit, even though normally on these sets it will be minor details that are changed. It's more going to be clipping that's going to be fixed, stuff like that. The overall design I've never seen change from this point, but who knows. We have this little disclaimer here, so I wanted to include it. And here we go with the first set, which will be the Demon Hunter. And right off the bat, I would say this is one of the coolest DH sets ever. It comes with glowing horns and some of the most classic Warcraft design elements in front as well as on the shoulders. This type of bright light in a metal cage visual has been around forever, from the Doomwalker on Hellfire Peninsula onwards. Even before that, probably, we had it also in some catapults from the undead, I think. So it's not exclusive to Fel stuff, but also to undead stuff, which is maybe a little bit weird, but in the context of, I think, mainly the Doomwalker design, which has been implemented here, it works really well for the Demon Hunter. That's especially the case because last season we had this Felhound inspired design, so we always have a well-known Fel entity that is redesigned into an armor set for the Demon Hunter, which is a concept that I think is really cool and works really well, as we can see by the example of this latest set we have here. When coming to the colorways, I think the red, green and purple are obvious non-brainers for the DH. They never fail and look amazing. We've also always had blue sets for the DH most of the time in recent seasons. To me they don't really speak Demon Hunter, but it's always a cool color choice nonetheless. And obviously with the Void Hunter now coming in Midnight, the blue sets make way more sense now. And this makes me wonder a little bit how long they've actually been planning to add the Void Hunters into the game. If this was already a consideration back in the early days of Dragonflight, when we already had pretty cool blue sets that you can now put on your fresh Void Hunter. Then of course we also have the purple set, which is obviously the Void Hunter set this time around. And that blue golden one, I'm really not sure. Is it like the Alliance set? I guess it will work fine for Void Elves in general, but it looks way too nice for a DH in my opinion. On to the Druid, and this one is, I think, actually my favorite when it comes to design and also the quality of the graphics. The wood on the arm pieces and the antlers looks really nice. I absolutely love what they did with those amber pieces, even though I feel they only really work well in the potential LFR version that we're looking at right now. It's unfortunate that not all of the leaves made it to be 3D objects, but many of them are only texture, which always takes away from how good a set can actually look. But these glowing half-open blossoms on the shoulders look amazing. And if we see those open up as a special effect on the armor, this set will most likely take the #1 spot on my tier list in Midnight Season 1. This would be just awesome, and other Druid sets already had some special effects, so this wouldn't be entirely new and it would make for a really cool effect. The colorways I think are also pretty much spot on. We have this basic nature theme, then we have the Ardenweald theme, then we have the Emerald Nightmare theme, the Druid of the Flame, and another basic nature and Ardenweald colorway for PvP as well. Moving on to the Paladin. I'm also a big fan of this armor actually. It's very subtle in comparison to most sets we've seen recently. No big wings, no massive horse heads on the shoulders, no giant headpiece. I think it's very reminiscent of the Paladins we've seen in the Midnight Cinematic coming from the Sunwell. And we've still got a ton of those classic Paladin visuals in the set. We have the hood with the mask, some scales, some feathers. And what we unfortunately barely see in the typical WoW head screenshots, this face on the side of the shoulder that I would really like to see. From the front, it's probably fairly similar to the one we can see on the back piece as well. The armor also has a lot of like broken elements right here in the center with light breaking through, but also on the shoulders and all over the armor, which is a really cool detail. On the side of colors, we have this basic blackened metal with rose gold, bronzish application version, which I like a lot actually. I'm not really sure about the turquoise, but maybe adding some elements of it into other transmogs will work really neatly. Then we have the red and white, which can be representative for the Arathi, but also for the Scarlet Crusade in a way, if that's what you maybe want to go for. Then we have this purple version, which is very royal, I guess. I like it. It's for the Courts of Silvermoon maybe, or if you want to go out in Stormwind. I don't know what Alliance people do. The cold blue, which may work very well for some Alliance themed transmogs as well. And last but not least, the red and black with green glowing details. After the second tier 2 reskin we got from the Treasure Goblin event, this set looks amazing, and especially for all the Blood Knights out there, this is definitely a must-have. And from how these sets are sorted, I see myself grinding the arena again with my own Blood Knight. On to the Priest, Valkyr themed very obviously. Interestingly, we also still have a couple of Dwarven Dornogal elements in this set, so I wonder if this was initially planned as a War Within set. Especially in the blue version, it has big Thragar vibes for me. I'm not sure if the headpiece will work better with other races, but as of now I'm not a big fan. I like the wings, I also like the Valkyr with the glowing sword on the shoulders, but in my opinion the Dwarven elements and the Valkyr hat don't match all that well. So this is a mid set at best. The blue color is cool, the purple is very dominant. The red will probably look amazing in shadow form as always, same for the bright blue one. Those usually work very well for shadow priests in their shadow form. The white and gold is obviously perfect for all the holy and disciplined priests out there, and interestingly the lack of contrast also makes the details look a little less off in my opinion. The silver brown version is something for people with a very distinct taste, I guess. I'm not one of them. The Alliance colors however look really nice. So I feel like gold is really the best option for the design, but I still don't think it's one of the better sets, especially not for the priest. They had so cool sets in the past, and yeah, well, I think we're lucky with those sets, so we always have the transmog option and don't have to run around in this dress. The rogue set comes with plenty of familiar elements we've seen in the past. We have the obvious hood with a bit of a weird half mask that I'm not too fond of. I personally prefer a full mask, but maybe that's just me. We have the glowing bones on the shoulders again, surrounded by metal spikes, just as last season. But I really like the element where we have these shining red coming through between those split spikes. That's cool, like a bloody dagger or some sort of vampire style almost. Also here on the chest you have the same piece again. Instead of the bombs and shuriken of last season, we now have daggers all over the place. So this is kind of a dedicated assassin set probably. The The poofy sleeves are fun, and I'm all for the return of the kilted leather they came up with last season. A couple of extra pieces to divert the look and really nice coat. It's a nice set. Not super special, I'd say, but definitely nothing to be ashamed of as a rogue. On the first version, I don't think the red of the shoulders and the fading Bordeauxish color of the fabric match very well. Also the metals of the shoulder and the rest of the set, but let's give them the benefit of a doubt here. This is alpha after all. And as we had this little introduction in the beginning, these are all hand stitched. And if you look at those two sets in comparison, I think they used the same shoulders twice. So these are not the appropriate shoulders for this particular set here. Another detail I'd like to point out is this cool dirty color gradient on the cloak. We had this on a couple of sets last season as well, and they kept this detail, and especially for a rogue, that's such a neat detail and also very well executed. The purple, again, very royal, like with the Paladin, more on the Venetian carnival side of things, I guess. The type of harlequin assassin, maybe. The green has neat poison vibes, I guess. The red and turquoise is also very neat, again, more on the fancy side of things, not necessarily your filthy rogue crawling in the gutters, but you can even see it in the cloak. It comes without the dirt gradient here. They should also remove that from the purple set, in my opinion, for all the fancy rogues out there who do their stabbing in the back rooms of the royal balls instead of the muddy side alleys. Yellow. Interesting choice. Not sure what this one is about. Neither Horde nor Alliance. No special faction I would think of. Do you have any idea? I'm not much of a rogue player myself, to be entirely honest. I'm not up to date with all the little special factions that may be in play or something that happened back in Legion in the class order halls. So maybe there's something I'm missing here? If so, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know about it. Let's all learn a little bit today. The Warlock. Oh my fell corrupted god. They have really been doing the cooking on this one. I don't even know where to start. And as a Warlock man, I want this right now. Again with the asymmetrical horns like in Season 1, the mask, insane. The cracking rocks bursting from fell energy just like the Infernals, only held together by these massive chains. If you thought having a void portal for a face this season was over the top, what is this now? Epic. It's absolutely epic. It's perfect. It's beautiful, and you haven't even seen the coolest part yet when you're looking at this version of the set. The only thing I'm a little afraid of is what it's going to look like on my undead, because this set may really profit from a broader character model, like an orc or a Draenei. Color-wise, this first one is obviously a slightly too yellow infernal design, but it's definitely cool. Then we're going full fire. Then we dive into the void again, which is also so cool, even though it's not very warlocky in my opinion. And then we have this. And it's even more void. And most of all, I think this is the single coolest colorway we have ever seen in any tier set. Ever. What the actual fuck? How amazing is this set? Now, I might be a little more hyped for Midnight than I should be right now, but honestly, this set in this color might be my favorite tier set ever. This beats tier 5, this beats Putress, Gul'dan, the amazing Antaurus and Aberrus sets. This is it. And then we have the regular Fel set with red for all the crazy blood elf logs. What if Kel'Thas went for the real Fel magic? And the classic green and purple, which are also amazing. So this set, from start to finish, it's just perfect. Now obviously anything after this Warlock set will look as lame and uninspired as it gets. But fortunately, it's the warrior set, which actually is as lame and uninspired as it gets, so there is no harm done. We have the tusks on the shoulders, the tusks on the helmet. This is honestly just a remake of Season 1. I'm not really here to shit on other artists' work, but we've seen 6 amazing tier sets now, some of them definitely among the best for their class, some among the best sets ever made, and then we have this slightly reorganized War Within Season 1 set that already was one of the weakest sets in Season 1. This is just really disappointing again. We went from tusks and horns to round spikes to edgy spikes back to tusks and horns. And what are these colors? Again, the super bright purple, yellow, green, blue, for what? These are so weird. I mean, besides the purple, they're all kind of fine and they get that they want to make a purple one in Midnight, but it just doesn't fit the style at all. And the style doesn't even fit the class. And in my opinion, warriors deserve so much cooler sets than these. And in addition to that, this is the last set we're looking at today, and I would have really loved to end this video on a high note. What am I going to do now? Just pull up the Warlock again? But all jokes and critique aside, I think the sets we have here are a great sign for what's to come in the next expansion. In my opinion, the Demon Hunter set is better than any of the War Within set. The Druid one is better than anything from War Within as well. The Paladin is on a level with our current season, but in its subtle way it might become one of my all-time favorites among all of the top Power Ranger sets we had in the past. The Roach is on par with the last 2 seasons of War Within as well, which both were among the most amazing sets for Rogue to date. The Warlock set just knocks it out of the park completely with potentially the best tier set ever. And to all of my warrior friends out there, good luck with Season 2.